Imagine a country so small you could drive across it in just 30 minutes, yet with a per capita wealth that surpasses virtually every nation on the planet. Welcome to Liechtenstein, one of Europe's best-kept secrets. This tiny nation, nestled between Switzerland and Austria, is one of the only places in the world that is doubly landlocked, a country without a coastline, surrounded by other countries that also have no access to the sea. But what makes this tiny principality so special? How does a territory of just 62 square miles, approximately the size of San Francisco, maintain its independence and prosperity in a world of giants? Today, we're going to unravel the mysteries of this minuscule economic powerhouse that many people can barely locate on a map. Liechtenstein is truly tiny by any international standard, with just 62 square miles of area. This alpine country is the 6th smallest in the world and the 4th smallest in Europe. To put it in perspective, you could fit more than 58,000 Liechtensteins within the territory of the United States. The landscape is dominated by the massive Alps, with the highest point being Grauspitz, an imposing mountain that rises 8,527 feet above sea level, an impressive height considering the size of the country. This mountainous geography has shaped both the culture and local economy, creating a natural isolation that has helped Liechtenstein maintain its unique identity through the century. What's even more fascinating is that this minuscule country has neither its own airport nor coastline, making it doubly isolated from the outside world. However, far from being a disadvantage, this geographical isolation has helped transform Liechtenstein into a discreet haven for the wealth and stability that characterize it today. The country's largest infrastructure structure is a 4-mile tunnel, which is longer than the width of the country at some points. A geographical paradox that perfectly reflects how this small state manages to achieve extraordinary feats despite its territorial limitations. One of the most surprising aspects of Liechtenstein is its complete absence of armed forces. The country abolished its army in 1868 after the Austro-Prussian War, when the last Liechtenstein soldier returned home. Since then, the principality has relied on its neutrality, its neighbors, and a small police force to ensure its security. In a region historically marked by conflicts, such as Central Europe, it's remarkable that such a small country has managed to maintain its independence and sovereignty without any military capability. This pragmatic decision reflects the mentality of a country that has always known how to use its limited resources to its advantage. And it's not just national defense that Liechtenstein has intelligently outsourced. The country shares many services with its larger neighbors, such as the national currency, the Swiss franc, operated through a monetary union with Switzerland, and a shared customs system that eliminates borders with its western neighbor. This ability to form strategic alliances and leverage the resources of neighboring countries without compromising its sovereignty is perhaps one of the greatest geopolitical lessons this small principality can teach the rest of the world. How? Is it possible that one of the smallest countries in the world has one of the highest per capita income? With an impressive GDP per capita exceeding $175,000, Liechtenstein easily surpasses nations like the United States, Germany, and Japan. This economic enigma has several fascinating explanations. First, Liechtenstein has transformed its small size and the strategic location into economic advantages. The country has developed a robust financial sector with attractive tax policies that, although criticized in the past as a tax haven, today operate within international transparency standards. But Liechtenstein's wealth doesn't just come from financial services. Surprisingly, this small country is a manufacturing powerhouse, specializing in high-precision, high-value-added products. Hilti, a global construction tools company, and Ivoclar Vivadent, a world leader in dental products, are examples of Liechtenstein corporations that dominate highly specialized niches in the global market. The country has become a center for precision manufacturing, where family businesses have transformed into global giants without having to abandon their roots. With a business-friendly tax policy and a highly skilled workforce, Liechtenstein demonstrates how a country doesn't need abundant natural resources, or a large domestic market to thrive in the global economy. Despite its extraordinary wealth, the cost of living in Liechtenstein is surprisingly reasonable compared to other global financial centers. A typical resident can expect to spend about $1,700 per month for a comfortable life, excluding rent. Rents range between $1,200 and $1,500 for an apartment downtown, and about $1,000 outside the most valued areas. Public transportation, efficient and punctual as you would expect from a German-speaking country, costs between $55 and $88 monthly. Health insurance, mandatory for all residents, varies between $200 and $250 per month, ensuring access to one of the best healthcare systems in Europe. For food, residents spend an average of $300 to $350 monthly. And for those who enjoy nightlife, entry to clubs in neighboring cities will cost between $20 and $30. As for the immigration process, visas cost between $100 and $150 and take 10 to 15 days to process, although the process for permanent residency is notoriously selective, reflecting the country's desire to maintain its exclusivity and quality of life. If you're as fascinated as I am with these small countries that defy all expectations, this is the perfect time to join our community here at MindSparks. We travel to the most remote and surprising corners of the planet to bring you stories that expand your worldview. Click the subscribe button right now and hit the bell to never miss any of our weekly documentaries about the most extraordinary places on the planet. Your mind deserves this kind of stimulation, and we promise to continue bringing content that challenges common sense and reveals the hidden wonders of our world. While most European monarchies have evolved into primarily ceremonial roles, Liechtenstein remains a constitutional monarchy where the prince maintains substantial political powers. The current sovereign, Prince Hans Adam II, possesses one of the largest royal fortunes in Europe, estimated at over $4 billion. Wealthier than Queen Elizabeth II was in her final years of reign. This wealth comes primarily from the family's art collection and corporate investments, managed by the LGT Group, the bank owned by the princely family. What makes Liechtenstein's political system truly unique is that in 2003, through a popular referendum, citizens voted to grant the prince even more constitutional powers, including the right to veto laws and dissolve parliament. This hybrid system of democracy and princely authority might seem anachronistic to many outside observers, but it has worked remarkably well for this small state. Liechtenstein's political stability is legendary, with gradual and consensual changes being the norm, rather than abrupt revolution. This peculiar political model is another example of how Liechtenstein has forged its own path, creating institutions that reflect its unique history and culture, rather than simply copying conventional, democratic models. The Mittel of Liechtenstein, Vaduz, with just 5,700 inhabitants, would be considered a small town in any other country, but here it is the cultural and administrative center of a nation. Dominated by the imposing Vaduz Castle, the official residence of the princely family that majestically rises above the city, the capital combines medieval architecture with modern infrastructure in a fascinating contrast. Approximately 80% of the population is Catholic, and religious traditions still play an important role in the country's cultural life. One of the most visible manifestations of this cultural heritage are the seasonal festivals that mark the Liechtenstein calendar, many of them celebrating the harvest or religious events with parades, traditional music, and of course, food. Speaking of gastronomy, Liechtenstein's national dish is Käsknöpfle, a delicious alpine version of mac and cheese, made with local cheese and served with caramelized onions. A simple but comforting dish that reflects the unpretentious soul of this wealthy country. Liechtenstein's culture is strongly influenced by its Germanic neighbors, with German being the official language, although a local German dialect, Alemannic, is commonly spoken in daily life. This small country is also home to world-class museums, including the Kunstmuseum Liechtenstein, which presents modern and contemporary art in an impressive black cube building. One of Liechtenstein's most notable characteristics is its population. With just 39,000 inhabitants, this country has one of the most cohesive and well-educated communities in the world. The female population is often described as elegant, educated, athletic, and independent, a reflection of the country's high educational standards and exceptional quality of life. Indeed, Liechtenstein has one of the highest literacy rates in the world and an educational system that rivals the best in Europe. The country's prosperity has allowed the development of a society where well-being, culture, and education are highly valued. Liechtensteiners have a strong work ethic combined with an appreciation for nature and tradition. Local inhabitants often work in high-tech companies during the day and cultivate vineyards or practice alpine sports in their free time, a duality that perfectly combines the modern and the traditional. The society is remarkably safe, with virtually non-existent crime rates, another benefit of being a small and prosperous community. And while the country is undeniably homogeneous in terms of ethnicity and culture, Liechtenstein has gradually opened itself to international influence, with highly qualified foreign workers being attracted by the economic opportunities and exceptional quality of life. One of the most surprising curiosities about Liechtenstein is that, for a brief period, it was literally possible to rent the entire country. Yes, you read that correctly. The Principality offered the possibility of renting the country for corporate events, complete with personalized reception, accommodations for up to 900 people, and even the possibility of temporarily renaming streets and squares. This unusual service was offered by the company COEXIST in partnership with the local government, and while it was available, the price to rent Liechtenstein for one night was approximately $70,000. Imagine having an entire country at your disposal for a private party. Another fascinating fact is that Liechtenstein is one of the few countries in the world that has more registered companies than citizens, with approximately 73,700 companies for 39,000 inhabitants. This means that, on average, each citizen of Liechtenstein could own almost 2 companies. And here's one more curiosity. During Swiss military exercises in 2007, a contingent of Swiss soldiers accidentally invaded Liechtenstein when they got lost during a storm. The incident was resolved diplomatically, with Switzerland making a formal apology and Liechtenstein graciously accepting, saying that these things happen when you don't have an army. Apparently, you develop a good sense of humor about accidental invasions. Despite its diminutive size, Liechtenstein exerts surprising influence in certain areas of the global scene. In the business world, companies like Hilti and Ivoclar Vivident are global leaders in their respective sectors, with a presence on virtually every continent. The country's economic model, combining low taxation with high industrial specialization and sophisticated financial services, has been studied and, in some aspects, emulated by other small nations seeking prosperity in a world dominated by economies of scale. In the field of politics, Liechtenstein offers a fascinating case study on how small states can maintain their sovereignty and prosperity in an international system that generally favors the large. Its pragmatic diplomacy, seeking strategic alliances without compromising independence, is a handbook for small nations. Additionally, Liechtenstein has been an important advocate for human rights and peaceful conflict resolution in international forums such as the United Nations, often using its neutrality to mediate disputes. In the cultural realm, the princely Foundation of Liechtenstein manages one of the most important private art collections in the world, with works spanning more than 500 years of European art history, significantly contributing to the preservation of global artistic heritage. Liechtenstein proves that, in the modern world, a country's physical size does not necessarily determine its success or influence. This tiny alpine principality has transformed its apparent disadvantages: limited territory, absence of natural resources, small population, into strategic advantages, creating a state model that thrives through specialization, intelligent alliances, and adaptive policies. As a nation that has survived and prospered without an army, without an airport, and without access to the sea, Liechtenstein teaches us important lessons about resilience, ingenuity, and pragmatism. In a world increasingly dominated by globals, powers, and regional blocs, countries like Liechtenstein remind us that there are multiple paths to national success. The ability to find lucrative economic niches, maintain cultural traditions while adapting to modernity, and govern by consensus rather than coercion are valuable lessons that this small giant offers to the rest of the world. And the next time you're traveling through Central Europe, consider making a detour to visit this fascinating country. You can cross it in just half an hour, but the impressions it will leave will certainly last much longer. Did you know about Liechtenstein before this video? What other small country would you like us to explore in our next documentary? Leave your suggestion in the comments below. If this small European giant has expanded your vision of what is possible for a nation, don't forget to expand our reach here at MindSparks as well. Each subscription helps us explore more of these extraordinary places and bring you stories that challenge expectations. Click like, share with friends who appreciate geographical curiosities, and join our global community of curious minds. And don't forget to check out our other videos about fascinating places around the world. As always, I'm deeply grateful for you taking the time to expand your horizons with us. Until the next surprising destination.